our identity gets so tied up to the uniform that when you transition out, it's difficult. It's like you got to learn a new language. You got to kind of figure out what your next mission in life is going to be.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm super stoked to have another special guest on the show. This is a very good friend of mine. We go way back, and he is also a medic. So we started in the SEAL teams really early on, both went the medic route, and right now he has moved on into the realm of real estate, and he's got a lot of great information to share with people on real estate investments, and especially veterans, and how they can leverage all the great benefits that they have into turning into income producing assets so that they're not reliant on what they get separated. They don't have to get to that retirement, or what if they had issues with those wages. So he's got all this great information to share, and I'm really excited to hear from Aaron. Aaron, how you doing?
Doing great, my man. I appreciate you and thank you for having me, man. Like I said, I love what you're doing, brother, and just happy to be here, man. Grateful.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited. So you had gone full bore into real estate. So was that going from San Diego all the way across the country, switching careers? Was that kind of chaotic? Can you tell us what you were going through and what was happening in this period of your life?
I wouldn't say it was chaotic. I would say there was a lot of uncertainty. And to be honest, Brent, I wasn't planning on retiring at 20 years, man. My goal was to do 30 years. I had already submitted a chief warrant officer package, and I was fully committed to the life in the Navy. However, man, I've got 3 kids, my wife, and I realized towards my 17, 18-year mark that my absence was affecting my relationship with my kids, with my wife. So I decided, man, during my last deployment in Yemen, it was during COVID time, that I was going to call it, man. So I pulled my chief warrant officer package, and I said this was going to be my last deployment. I'm going to go ahead and get out in 20 years. And I started a plan backwards, man. I knew what I wanted to do, right? I knew that I had a passion for real estate. I started investing in real estate halfway through my military career. I bought my first property. It was a 1960s single family home, cost $330,000 in San Diego. You won't even see that anymore, man. And I leveraged the VA loan, man. So I did that, and I started to learn more about the VA loan process, the advantage that we have as like 0 down payment. And what I did is I purchased that first property. I converted that VA loan after living in it for some time and renovating that property. I decided to convert that VA loan into a conventional loan. When you do that, it frees up your VA loan again, man. So I went ahead and converted it to a conventional, rented that property out, bought another one, and then got like a little system rolling like that, man. And it worked out for me, man. So that's kind of how I got started in real estate. When I started selling my properties was when I started looking at like the commissions that these realtors make. And I was like, dang, brother, you guys get paid, you know? So I wanted to do something, man, where I was passionate about it, but also I wanted to see how can I help others in this process. So now I'm helping a lot of young service members kind of do the same thing that I'm doing. The only difference is I'm recommending that they go towards multifamily, you know, whether it's a duplex, triplex, or quad, because the cash flow is a lot better.
That's awesome. So you're looking at what you basically did is you started investing in real estate. You're like, hey, I'm getting this VA and making money, so that's your basic allowance per house. I'm making money to live somewhere. Why am I just paying this rent out to a landlord? Why don't I start pay this money that I'm already getting from the military and investing it into an asset for yourself?
100%, my man. And that's how it started, right? When I got orders to SEAL Team 1, I didn't know anything about the buying process. So I went ahead and rented a condo. I was renting a condo, but at the same time, I realized like, hey, I'm paying for this condo and it's the same amount for a mortgage. Why don't I just utilize my BAH to buy a single family home? That way I'm investing in myself. That way I'm building that equity. And then in the long run, I can go ahead and rent it out to somebody else, make some good money off of it, and then go buy myself another property. So that's kind of how I started, man. Early in SEAL Team 1, buying my first property at I was 20, 21 years old, man.
That's super awesome. That's super awesome. That's what a lot of people dream about. And what you're doing right now, if you're making that accessible to service members that are just coming in, people that are at that same age you were at when you first starting. That's really cool. So you've basically steamrolled that, and now I'm saying, hey, it wasn't a mistake. It was a learning experience. You did a single family home, but now you're saying, hey, if somebody's getting started and they're doing this off the cuff, what would I have done differently? Oh, I would have gone straight into a multifamily home duplex, something like that. So could you break that down for us? Tell us some of those advantages, disadvantages, and why you would recommend somebody going that route.
Yeah, well, I recommend it, man, because the cash flow is a lot more, right? And when you compare it, a single family home is still considered 1 to 4 units. So you can use that VA loan for a 4-unit property, right? You don't have to go conventional. You don't have to go get a debt service coverage ratio loan. You can literally utilize your VA loan. And that's what I did early this year, man. I helped a young service member. He was looking at single family homes. And I told him, I was like, hey, man, have you thought about duplexes? I'm just saying, just start looking at duplexes. We started looking at duplexes. We found a great one, man. And the key is here, right? The key in finding a property is the location. Make sure it's in a great location. It could be a C minus property, but if it's in a B plus location, that's perfect. We ended up finding this gem, this duplex. He used his VA loan, acquired the property. It was like a $340,000 duplex, man. After acquiring it, I helped him get a tenant. So we put it on the market so he could get a tenant, got his tenant. He got himself a roommate in the process as well. By the end of it, my man, he was cash flowing. He was no longer paying a mortgage. I'm actually helping the same client right now. He actually wants to rent both units out, right? Because he's living in one with one roommate. He now wants to rent both units out. And he's like, hey, man, let's go find a single family, right? I want a new construction because there's so much new development happening here in Northeast Florida that he wants to take advantage of that. And he's like, hey, let me get a new property. Once I leave here in a year, I'm just renting all these out and I'll buy myself another property wherever I go next.
Man, that's fantastic. So you were saying that he's able to do that even with the VA loan because what's that process you were saying?
So the VA loan, so the way it works is like you can use your VA loan for 1 to 4 units. And once you live in the property for about a year, you can convert that VA loan to a conventional loan. It frees up your VA loan, right? Or you can use your VA loan twice, right? If you have enough entitlement left over, you can literally use your VA loan twice to buy a second property. You know, as long as your first property is being leased, you're good to go, man. So there's many advantages that we have as veterans, active duty. And it really, man, it bothers me when I see young service members, they don't know much about the VA. They don't know much about purchasing a home. So my goal now, man, is as a realtor is I try to connect with service members on base and just educate them. These are the resources you have. This is what you have at your disposal. Take advantage of this because you're going to be moving every 2 to 3 years. And if you can buy a house everywhere you go, shoot, by the end of your 15, 20-year career, you've got some income producing assets, man. You're making some good money.
For real. Yeah, and that's the great thing about the Navy in particular is a lot of their bases are on coast.
Yep.
So they're already at places that the property value is already nice and it's not going to fluctuate down too awful much. It's going to be trending up exactly pretty consistently. Yeah. That's awesome. So you mentioned something else that I think I'd like to kind of dive deeper into. Most people might not know this, so I think it'd be really good for us to get more information on is we know VA loans, some financing like that, but you were saying that it can also be used for new construction.
You can. Yeah, you can absolutely use your VA loan for new construction homes. So when I say new construction, they're already built. they're just like, they've been built that year, right? So it's really like purchasing a regular property, right? You're just buying this new construction home that's been built recently, and it's a normal process. Just you purchasing the house. The only good thing about this is like here in Northeast Florida, all these builders are providing such great incentives for service members, for anyone looking to buy new construction homes, where they're literally putting down, or the incentive is like 4% towards closing costs. So literally, not only are you using your VA loan, but you're not even paying anything for closing costs. And a lot of folks get this confused, right? When service members think, oh, VA loan, I'm not paying anything out of pocket. Well, it means the VA loan is zero down, but it doesn't mean zero to close. You still have to pay closing costs. And that's really important for people to know it. And that's one of the first things I tell my service members is like, hey, you're going to have to pay closing costs. Closing costs are usually between 3, maybe 5% of the purchase price, right? Depending on the title company. So educating your service members early so they're not shocked or surprised that it's like, hey, why do I have to pay 10 grand or 12 grand for just to close the deal? So it's important to educate early, man.
Yeah, that's great, because a lot of times sometimes they're not hidden fees, but if they just kind of jump in at you at an unexpected time, it can cause a little bit of friction and a little bit of a feeling blindsided.
Exactly.
So that's great that you're very upfront with them. You're letting them know well in advance. So you're talking about your family as well. If that was like a big motivator for shifting gears, shifting careers, because I was in the same boat as you. I was hoping to do get you close to 30, another 10 years-ish. I was putting in my DCO package, Direct Correction Officer package, was just finishing up my bachelor's degree and expecting to do another 10 years in the military. That didn't work out for me. But again, best laid plans, they're always going to change. So tell me about some of the struggles and unique challenges that you face as a father, as a family man in the military, in the SEAL teams particularly, and how you navigated them, and what advice you might give somebody who's in a similar situation.
Yeah, man, that's a great question, man. I would say this, man, and you know this, Brent, better than anybody, man. When you're in the SEAL teams, you're gone about 85% of the year. So that was my career. I was either on deployment or I was training. I was just grinding the whole time. So anytime I would come back home, it was almost like you were a tourist in your own home, right? And you're just trying to figure things out. You're trying to figure out what the battle rhythm is around the house, because the wife handles everything. She's holding down the fort. She's managing all 3 kids. She's dropping them off to school. I'm just trying to catch up and figure things out. So it's a little frustrating. So I would say this, man, be patient with your spouse. Have some grace. When you come back either from deployment or training, have that level of patience where you can catch up. You can ask, hey, how can I assist? How can I help you with whatever's going on, right? Whether it's picking up the kids, dropping off the kids, man. So that's huge, man, having that level of patience. And I'll tell you this, man, I was going to do 30 years. That was my intent, brother. But when you start having a lot of friction and you start realizing that your absence is making an impact on your kids, right? Your kids are now getting to a stage where every time you leave, it affects them, man. They're not happy in school. They're not happy at home. There's that missing piece, that missing link, that father figure that is so important, that needs to be present in the household, man. So my last deployment was to Yemen, man. And it was 2020, good old COVID, right? I was getting ready to deploy, and then I'm on the aircraft. Everything gets shut down. Everybody tells us, hey, we can't leave yet. So because of COVID, some of the members of my platoon are already in country. I'm stuck back in the States. All this uncertainty going on with COVID. People start wearing masks. You can't go anywhere. We can't go to work. I'm frustrated because I want to go down range, man. I want to go help out my teammates. I'm in the States for like about 2 months. And then eventually I finally able to deploy with the rest of my guys. And before we can go to Yemen, we have to do 15 days quarantine in a hotel by yourself, man. Now, I've been go throughout my whole career. These 15 days, like you literally can't interact with anybody. You've got your phone on you, but you can't have human interaction, right? If you had any type of human interaction, you're not going on that deployment. So I didn't want to risk it. We were all in our hotel rooms. I don't think I've had that time to really assess or think or just have time for myself and realize, all right, where am I going? What am I doing next? What's my life going to look like in 5, 10 years, man? So I took that time, that 15 days of quarantine, and I just started calling guys who were already out of the SEAL teams. They were already out of the military. They've been out for quite some time, started their own careers. And I wanted to find out how everything's going, how the process has been, what's life on the outside. And what I found out is everybody was thriving, man. Everybody was having a good time. There were some guys that were struggling, but for the most part, it's natural to struggle, right? It's natural to have that level of struggle when you're transitioning, especially if you do like 10, 20 years in the military. It's going to be tough, man, because our identity gets so tied up to the uniform that when you transition out, it's difficult. It's like you got to learn a new language. You got to figure out what your next mission in life is going to be, right? So that was a bit of a struggle with me, is figuring out like, okay, I know I like real estate, but what exactly do I want to do in real estate? And in essence, all I was thinking about though is how can I spend more time with my family, right? What can I do to spend more time with my family? And really, real estate has given me that opportunity, right? I manage my own schedule. So if I want to take the day off, I can take the day off, right? If I want to take the month off, I can take the month off. So I have more autonomy, more control of my time. And with that being said, I'm able to attend all my kids' sporting events. I'm able to, hang out with my wife. If we want to have breakfast, go out to lunch, I have that opportunity now.
That is awesome. So you're basically transitioning, you've dedicated a whole life to service where you're fed 85% of the time, you're gone, you're deployed, you're trained, you are in the grind, working bonuses, you're a professional thief, and it takes everything you got. You had that period of time where you could reflect, you could do some research, talk to guys who've been there and done that. And from that experience, you decided, hey, I need to shift gears. Exactly. It's not that what I've been doing is wrong. It's not that I've been doing, but it doesn't fit the future that I see for my life. I want to be more present with my family, more present with my kids. I want to be that father figure who can raise them and guide them instead of being deployed for 6 months and then come back and find a reintegrate. That's a great, great decision that you've made. And I'm sure it was extremely tough, but it seems like it's working out really, really well for you. I love seeing that.
It was, man. I'll tell you what, man. It was an answered prayer for my wife, man. Listen, my wife has followed me throughout my whole career, right? And you have seasons, right? When we married, you got some good seasons, some bad seasons. And she knew that, hey, I'm committed to doing 30 years. I was at my 18-year mark and I told her, I'm done. I'm wrapping this up. I'm getting out at 20. And she couldn't believe it, man. So then we were trying to figure out where we were going to move next, right? California is great, but my entire network was in San Diego, California, right? I spent most of my career in San Diego, but I also realized that since my wife had followed me throughout my whole career, I just internally thought, let me ask her, where do you want to live? Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself, right? You've sacrificed, you've compromised a lot for me, for my career. I've been successful in my career. And my wife said, I want to live close to the family, right? And her family had relocated to Orlando, Florida. So I was like, check. All right, I love Florida. I was like, we'll go to Florida, but I don't want to live in Orlando, right? I want to be close to the ocean, man. So we settled in this beautiful area called St. Augustine, Florida, the oldest city in the United States, man. And brother, this is home, man. And I tell you what, having family close by, you've got your nieces and nephews. They're about an hour, 45 minutes away. So the family can drive over here. They're not so far away, but they're also not so close. You know what I mean? You've got great distance and it's a blessing to have family, man. I would say that, dude. Like when we're in the SEAL team, we're so committed to the mission, to the platoon, that we get fixated on that, man. And we forget the importance of our family and the sacrifice that they make. And that when it comes time, when we're at the end of our career, that's all we have is that family, man. So it's important to take care of your family. It's important to do what's best for them.
Yeah. And the way you described it and the way you lead into it just really spoke volumes to me. You weren't just like, all right, in the transition, we're going to do this new thing. This is what we're doing. You know, you connected with that team, that family unit, and you said, where do you want to go? Where do we want to be? What do we want to do with this? So I really value how you communicated that, you asked them, and you were open to not just doing things my way, not doing whatever, but really choosing to work as a team and move forward together. So with that being said, you talk about being a father and how you wanted to be more present. What does it mean to you to be a father in the modern world? Because there's so many different family types, so many fatherless homes, and so many children who will be raised without a dad in their life. So you being a father and a family man, what does that mean to you?
Dude, that's such a great question, man. I don't know if I have the right answer. We're all trying our best to be the best dad or the best father. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, man, I fall short, right? And you lose your temper or because you want to see your kids do so much better than you that sometimes you apply a little too much pressure on them. But I would say this, man, being present, being there when they are struggling, whether it's school, whether it's sports, having that conversation with them, making sure that you're praying with them, that's so good, man. And also letting them know that you make mistakes as well. Oh, one of the biggest things, dude, apologizing to your kids when you make a mistake, right? That shows them that, hey, even daddy's not perfect, right? So I think that's where being a good father comes, man, is being authentic, looking after your kids, leading in the right way, man, leading them towards success, leading them in a way that's going to help them in this world that we're living in. So it's truly important, man. My kids now, I mean, when we were in San Diego, they were going to a public school. Now they're going here in Florida, they're going to a private Christian school, man, and they're just being fed so much great stuff, man, that I'm amazed at my kids and how much they know about the Bible, how much they pray. I mean, my youngest, man, he's 9 years old now, and he's just a little prayer warrior, man. He will not be embarrassed. If we need somebody to pray, he'd be like, I got it. He's like, I'll pray. So I think that's important. So in essence, what I'm saying is being Christ-centered, man. And as a father, being able to surrender. I think that's so important, man, because I tell you what, when you come from the SEAL teams, you've got this level of pride, some ego. There's going to be ego all the time. And you're kind of carrying some body armor as well. You don't want people to see some weakness, man. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. It takes a lot of humility. Take that armor off, surrender yourself, and be authentic to who you are, man. Don't be afraid to ask questions because we're not perfect human beings, man. So I share that with you because of my transition from being in the SEAL teams to real estate. Did I know everything about real estate? Heck no, bro. I had to ask questions, man. I had to see who were the best performing realtors. Where could I get my guidance, man? So yeah, bro.
That is awesome. So it sounds like you've taken your kids, you put them into a great place where the great educational environment and highly a foundation to build on. So a set of core values, and right now you're probably, hey, Christian school, Bible, that's a roadmap. That hope is a roadmap to character, right living, and being able to use that foundation, base that foundation, and stream from there, grow from there into whatever life would lead them to, whatever career path that they might choose, but you've established a set of core values within them that can lead to success, set them up for success. Awesome. So speaking of identity a little bit, let's go back to the beginning. Your initial choice to go into the Navy, you didn't just choose to be a Navy, be a sailor. If you do that, anybody who chooses to do that, that's great. Good on you. Anybody who serves, I respect it. But you said, no, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL, and I also want to be a medic. So what drove you towards that specific path of being a helper and a healer and a community of warriors?
Dude, I love that, man.